So let's look at some practical examples of how to use character classes. For instance, character classes are really effective when you want to look for words or combination of words that have some sort of vowel or consonant that alternates, maybe because of some conjugation or because of some lexical class. So for instance, one way to increase the probability that I could find infinitives in Spanish would be to say, give me any word of any length, but it has to end in an A, an E, and an I, followed by an R. So this would look for any word that ended in an AR, ER, or an IR, because it's going to look in that next to the last position of the word to see whether it's an A, E, or an I, and then it's going to look also at the end of the word and see whether it's an R. And as you can see, sometimes errors come up, speaker for instance, but the vast majority of these words are infinitives. It's not a perfect way of doing it, but it highly increases the possibility. Let's take another example. Let's suppose that we wanted to find every instance of the perfect tense in Spanish. We know that that combines the verb haber and then a past participle. A couple of things we know about that as well is that the first word usually begins with an H, and the last word usually ends with an O. Although there's a lot more detail there, because we pretty much know that the next letter after that H is going to be an A or an E. And we also know that there could be a letter after that, such as as or habíamos or hemos, or there could be nothing. So what we would do is we would say we're looking for H followed by A or E and 0 or more letters after that, because that would get us A and A, but then almost any other form of haber, whether it had more letters or not. Then, for the next word, we could say, then give me any word that is of any length, but it ends in an O. Now, that's going to give us, for the most part, a heck of a lot of perfect tense combinations. For the most part, that's all we got in this search here. Let's try it again. Still giving us perfect tense combinations. Still there. Now, look at that. We have a false hit here. Hacerlo. Because the tagger or the person creating the corpus separated those two words. We could then give a little bit more precision to our search, because we know that for the most part we're going to either get a D or maybe an H or a T right before that O. So we could put another character class there and write an H, a D, or a T right there. So now we're looking for any word that begins with HA or HE, and then any number of letters after that, followed by a word that ends in an H, D, T, followed by an O. And we should have a really good search now. And we see hardly any false hits, and we do see, though, the che forms, and we also see some of the ones that end in a TO. there as well. If we look down, we've probably got quite a few more with the TO. We've got visto and llegado. And for the most part, we could say that the search is pretty faithful to what it is that we're looking for.